When we think of earbuds, headphones, and speakers, often we associate these audio-based products with big brands such as Sony, JBL, or Bose. But those products tend to cost anywhere between $200, $300, or more dollars. But what happens when you find a speaker that costs only $70 and it has very similar features? Could it be any good? Let's find out, and let's make it simple. Greetings and salutations, my friends. My name is Travis, aka Dad, and welcome to Dad Does Tech. I'm just an ordinary dad who loves tech and camera stuff, and my goal is to help you find the right gear and get the most out of it. And today we're taking a look at the Bugani M83 Bluetooth speaker, a 40-watt speaker that is waterproof at a retail price of only $70. Before we go any further, I wanted to let you know this is not a sponsored video, but if you decide to go down into the description and click on some of the links and make a purchase from one of those links, I will get a small commission from that purchase. This of course costs you nothing, but it is a good way to subtly and kindly help the channel so I can continue making content just like this one. Let's get back to the review. To highlight some of the features of this speaker is IPX5 waterproof. It is Bluetooth 5.0. It has an aux input, it has a sweet metal grill on the front, and it supports being used as a power bank, so you can actually plug your phone into it and use it as a charger when you're on the go. As far as packaging is concerned, I was honestly pretty impressed with the packaging that it came in. It comes in this big box with some pretty cool looking images of the speaker on the front, showing that it's waterproof, being doused in water and all that. It's kind of got this matte black and very smooth finish to it. It feels really sturdy. It doesn't feel cheap and very thin. It's got a handle on top. This is honestly the kind of packaging that I would expect to see on a product that's easily $200 to $300, and it's pretty impressive. Inside the box itself, you'll find that the contents are rather minimalistic. The speaker itself is wedged between two slices of foam inside a little plastic bag, and you'll also find the instruction manual, a 3.5mm auxiliary cable, and also a small micro USB charging cable. I will say that I was a little disappointed that it was micro USB for charging instead of USB Type-C. However, I think I can live with it, and maybe we'll see it on the next one. From a design standpoint, there is a lot to really love about this speaker. Starting with this two-tone black and orange look, I think that looks pretty sweet. It's a mixture of plastics and these metal finishes that they used for the grills and stuff, and honestly, they make it look really good. It's really popping, the colors look good, it's super comfortable in the hand. There's nothing about this thing that feels cheap at all. It feels very, very rugged and durable. The outer casing is kind of this rubberized silicone plastic that's kind of soft to the touch. I will say that if you're going to use it outside, it's probably a material that's going to collect a lot of dust and dirt. But given the nature of like what this is for and how durable it is, it's probably meant for more of outside use, and they use that material for a reason. The bottom of the speaker has two huge rubber pads that are super grippy, and if you try and put it on a flat surface and move it, it's darn near impossible, and that's awesome. However, I think it'd be cool if you could turn the speaker on its side and use it this way if you wanted to for space purposes. And you can, but I wish that they had these rubber pads one more. Instead of having this kind of grooved look right here, I wish it was another one of those rubber pads so that you couldn't slide it across the table if you wanted to have your speaker vertically, because the buttons are on the opposite side. So it'd be kind of cool if you could have it vertical and use the buttons on top. Speaking of the buttons may be one of my favorite things about the whole speaker. I really love these buttons. They're cased in the same kind of plasticky rubber stuff that's on the rest of the speaker, but man, they've just got this good press. When you press them, oh yeah, that's the stuff. They're just so clicky, and I love clicky buttons because then you can tell if you're actually raising or lowering the volume or pressing the button. I like that haptic feel, the good feedback, you know? Yeah, that's the stuff. The buttons are laid out in these small quadrants. On the right side, you've got your up and down for volume. At the top, you've got your power button to turn it on. If you hold it down, it'll turn on, and if you hold it down again, it'll turn off. Below that is your play pause, which is nice and big. And then on the left side, it's pretty cool. You've got your TWS button, which is pretty sweet because what that does is if you have two of these, you can actually pair two of these speakers together to get more of a stereo sound as long as the speakers are within 10 feet of each other. And then this last button that has a big M on it, it's pretty cool because what you can do is it actually allows you to press it and read from an internal memory card. So if you wanted to put a micro SD card or a TF card in there, you'd be able to actually read tracks from songs or audio from the memory card itself. So that way you wouldn't actually have to connect to a Bluetooth device, whether it's your phone or a tablet or something else. When it comes to the waterproofing on this speaker, it does say that it's waterproof. The box shows it being submerged in water, but it is IPX5 waterproofing. And if you know anything about the IPX ratings, IPX5 is more of a high level of water resistance. It's not a true waterproofing. And because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and put an asterisk next to waterproof speaker, because I wouldn't say that this is fully waterproof, and I would have reservations about letting it sit in water for extended periods of time. I think that it would do fine if it gets hit by a hose or a sprinkler, or if someone dumps something on it. I think that it would be fine if it was in the rain. But if it was completely submerged in water, especially for an extended period of time, I'm a little concerned that you might see some of these materials start to find leaks and damage your speaker in the long run. On the back of the speaker box, you can see the two main speakers within the enclosure, and they move freely so that the bass can kind of pump out the back. And then also there's a small flap directly to the right of the one speaker. If you pry open that rubber flap, you'll find the USB port that will allow you to use this speaker as a portable power bank. Below that, a TF card slot or a micro SD card slot, which will allow you to use any micro SD card as a source for audio files to be able to play directly through the speaker. Underneath that is the micro USB charging port, so that's where you'll actually charge the speaker itself. And then below that is the 3.5mm auxiliary input, allowing you to take other devices and plug them into this speaker to play music or other things through the speaker. The rubberized flap is something Bugani clearly added to help protect those ports, because they're probably not all that waterproof. So if you're using this speaker around water or in water, make sure this rubberized flap is all pushed in and sealed up tight, or you're gonna have a dead speaker probably pretty quickly. Now we've come to the most important part of any Bluetooth speaker, and that is sound quality. So let's take a listen and see how it sounds.
Really, I'm not a zombie, a thriller. I'm moving calmly but iller, not playing party until I ain't been partying either. Been at the Garden of Eden, just drinking water and eating. It's probably not what you're thinking, but I hardly been thinking. I feel like hard in the season. I know that's hard to believe in, and that's just part of the reason. I'm catching up to you because you wait and you sleeping. I feel like hard in the season. I feel like hard in the season. Yeah.
Now, obviously, the sound coming out of the speaker that's just traveling up into my microphone here is not going to be a true representation of exactly how this speaker sounds, but hopefully it helps you get at least an idea. And let me tell you, this thing sounds incredible. The sound coming out of this speaker is extremely impressive. The audio is both crispy and clear, as well as having really punchy and thick bass. The bass coming out of this thing has such a good rumble that it actually can be seen on the backs of the speakers when they vibrate back and forth. Not only is the sound quality that comes out of this speaker absolutely fantastic, it's surprisingly loud. It's really loud. This 40-watt speaker is going to be more than loud enough to crank the tunes or broadcast a sporting event to a decent-sized group of people whether it's inside or outside. And if you really want your neighbors to hate you, you can always buy a second one and use the TWS button to pair them together and make that sound even louder. As far as battery life goes, this speaker is listed to work for up to 2,400 minutes in between each charge. And for us who'd rather hear that in hours, that is a total of 40 hours on an individual charge. Not sure why they're using minutes, that seems kind of weird, but 40 hours is a heck of a long time. From what I can tell, this battery life should be more than enough to last for super long events, as well as multiple days of use without charges. The Bluetooth 5.0 connection is super stable when in an open space. When I was using it outside, I had absolutely no problems moving about my yard and having it drop out. I never experienced any interference or anything like that. However, when there were walls in between, if I was 15 to 20 feet away with a wall or a room in between my phone and the speaker, that's when I started to see way more interference issues and the speaker started cutting out. In knowing that, I would suggest if you are using a device to cast to the speaker using its Bluetooth connection, even though it's Bluetooth 5.0, I would recommend keeping the device in the same room with the speaker just to ensure no connectivity problems. Overall, I would say that the Bugani M83 Bluetooth speaker is absolutely amazing, and it's an incredible value. Honestly, it's amazing that you can get a speaker that sounds this good and has this feature set for $70. This speaker has comparable quality to any of the other big name audio brands out there, and if you were to take a Sony logo and slap it on the front of the M83, it'd probably cost $200. The output and the sound quality on this speaker will be more than enough for the average consumer, and it particularly shines well, I feel like, in outdoor usage. If you're using it for a pool party or any party, broadcasting a sporting event to friends, using it to take camping or on a road trip, then you're gonna love this thing. So yeah, there you have it. The Bugani M83 Bluetooth waterproof speaker. Links are in the description if you want to check this speaker out. And that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, found it helpful or mildly entertaining, go ahead and smash that button. Click subscribe for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later. The Bugani M83 waterproof. Oh boy. But it's an input, so you can use it as a output. You can use the input as an output. I clearly know exactly what I'm talking about. Inside the box, the contents are actually rather minimal. Waterproof. Me likey the clicky buttons.